The time is 8 o'clock. Here is the news at 8. First, the top stories. Labour direct Ogun civil servant to stay at home from Thursday. Governor Amosu reads riot act over the proposed worker strike. Lagos and Ogun state governors reshuffle their cabinets. IMF still rates Nigerian economy as Africa's biggest despite the recession. On the foreign scene, Indonesia introduces chemical castration to fight the rapist. And crisis hits South Africa's ruling party. Good evening, I am Kunle. Alaye bringing you the news in detail shortly. Their organized labor has directed Ogun State civil servants to embark on an indefinite strike as from Thursday to compel the state governments to clear arrears and salaries deduction, pensions, and gratuities. They asked the civil servants to ignore the state government's threat to withhold their salaries during the proposed strike. The labor leaders announced the decision at an emergency meeting convened by the Joint Public Service Negotiating Council in Abeokuta. At the meeting with leaders of the Nigerian Labour Congress (NLC) and the Trade Union Congress (TUC), the JPSNC State Chairman Abiodun Olakomi, in an interview with Rockcity FM after the meeting, said the state government had failed to meet up with the 21 days ultimatum given to it, which expires on Wednesday, to pay the outstanding deductions from workers' salaries and pensions and gratuities to the retirees. He said workers at the various government ministries, departments and agencies had been directed to stay away from work.
We have given the government 21-day ultimatum and we have gone round all the ministries, departments and agencies. We have been out. We have informed all our workers and they are all ready. They are poised for action. That by Thursday, 28th of October 2016. Nobody will go to work. So the strike will commence 12 a.m. Thursday, 28th of October 2016. Every worker in Ogun State will stay at home.
Earlier, Governor Kunle Amosu has read the riot act to those behind the proposed indefinite strike by the state civil servant, scheduled to take off at midnight over the unpaid gratuities, pensions, and the deductions from salaries. Amosu, speaking at the town hall meeting on the proposed 2017 budget in Abeokuta, said he would not allow labor leaders, individuals or groups to hold the states in ransom over what he called selfish interest. The governor also directed civil servants who are using their official position to play politics to resign immediately. He promised to use all powers at his disposal to fight any plots aimed at frustrating the progressive work and mission of his administration in Ogun State.
The era of playing politics under the guise of labor movement and agitations for improved welfare and condition of service is over and done for the state.
So where would they expect the money to come from? From the moon? Then they are not using brain. Because they are Ogun State. People must know, they must reason. They cannot just be talking like fools that they don't have brain. That is why I swore to an oath that I will do the best for all the people of Ogun State. They have been in this city Ogun State, we know what was happening. What they pray for is for everything to collapse, and it will not collapse.
Ẹnikẹ́ni tó bá ní òun fẹ́ da ìjọba rú àbò fẹ́ fọwọ́ pa ìdá ìjọba lójú àgbè dáadáa ni o àgbè gan ni.
The state government had declared the strike illegal and threatened to invoke the principles of no work, no pay on any of workers on its payroll who joined the strike. Meanwhile, Ogun State paramount rulers have said the proposed strike by the state civil servant is politically motivated. They, however, urge the organized labor leaders not to go ahead with the proposed strike. The paramount rulers and the Awujale of Ijebu land, Oba Sikiru Adetono, the Alake of Egba land, Oba Adedotun Aremu Gbadebo, and the Olu of Ilaro, Oba Kehinde Olugbenle, stated this at a news conference held at the Oba Complex Governor Office at Okemoso in Abeokuta. The top monarchs promised to organize a meeting between the labor leaders and Governor Amosu to discuss the modality for the payment of the arrears of salaries, deductions, pensions, and gratuities. The paramount rulers in a separate submissions at the news conference said it was unethical for the unions to align with politicians and to be used to disrupt the Amosu administration for the purpose of 2019 polls. They cautioned labor leaders on the issue, which they feared could further degenerate if not urgently tackled. On the decision of the organized labor to walk out on them before the news conference, the paramount rulers described the action of the labor leaders as disrespectful.
Civil servants are not allowed to engage in politics. If we don't keep in the board, degenerate, and what we are going to face in next election, 2019, will be worse than anything. It's a way of throwing the state into serious confusion, to chaos. So we are appealing to them through all of you not to embark on this strike. We would bring them together. They will discuss with government face to face, not to be carried away by politics. The situation in the country affects us. We are not isolated as even the royal friends. Even our own allocation to our burial council has gone down for more than 50% over a year now. We never carry papers.
Governor Kunle of Ogun State has reshuffled his cabinet. The exercise involves redeployment of 4 commissioners and 4 special advisors to the governor. Those affected include Mrs. Ronke Shokefun, who was moved from the Agriculture Ministry to the Ministry of Urban and Fiscal Planning, while Bashorun Adebola Adefe was redeployed from Urban and Fiscal Planning Ministry to the Ministry of Intergovernmental Affairs. Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs Commissioner Leke Adewolu will now supervise the Ministry of Special Duties. One of the new commissioners, Mrs. Abiola Kufile Okunji, is the Women Affairs and Social Development Commissioner, while a consultant to the governor, Mrs. Ronke Onodeko, will oversee the Ministry of Agriculture pending the appointment of a substantive commissioner. The affected special advisors are the special advisor to the governor on housing, Mr. Bayo Adeyemi, who moves to the Ministry of Education, Science and Technology, Mr. Yinka Udufua from Agriculture to Forestry Ministry, Mr. Akinola Lawson of the Ministry of Culture and Tourism moves to Special Duties. Also, Shegun Adesonya, who is the Governor's Special Advisor on Ministry of Special Duties, who moves to Youth and Sports, while Mr. Gbenga Okpesanwo is in charge of Transport. In Lagos State, Governor Akinwumi Ambode dropped 3 commissioners in a minor cabinet shakeup. The affected commissioners are Folorunso Folarin Koka of the Culture and Tourism Ministry, Mustapha Akinwumi of Finance Ministry, and his transport counterpart Ekundayo Muberola. Secretary to the state government Tunji Bello, who announced the cabinet shake-up in a statement, said special advisors to the governor on culture and tourism directed to take over Culture and Tourism Ministry, while the special advisor on transport will now run the ministry. The permanent secretary in the Finance Ministry is asked to take over the Finance Ministry. International Monetary Fund (IMF) says Nigeria still remains Africa's biggest economy despite its economic recession. Last August, BBC, in a report, had said Nigeria had lost its first position to South Africa following the recalculation of its gross domestic product (GDP). But IMF, in its World Economy Outlook for October 2016, put Nigeria ahead, calculating its GDP at $415.018 billion from $493.831 last December. It rates South Africa as the continent's second largest economy, with GDP of $280.3 billion from $340.7 billion in the year 2015. The annual free health program of former President Olusegun Obasanjo will begin on Thursday, October 20th, at the amphitheater of the Olusegun Obasanjo Presidential Library beside the NNPC mega station in Abeokuta. The opening ceremony will have Obasanjo in attendance. The program, put together by the Business Prevention Initiative, is part of the Olusegun Obasanjo Foundation programs, which is expected to be attended by young and old who have various eye problems such as itching, cataract, glaucoma by expert ophthalmologists. The Foundation Chief Operating Officer Dr. Olalekan Makinde, in a release by Obasanjo Media Aide Kehinde Akinyemi, said the program, which was in its 7th edition, will be a nationwide exercise. Makinde advised residents to take advantage of the program by turning up between 7 a.m. and 5 p.m. on Thursday and Friday for registration and screening, while the free surgery will hold between October 24th and 25th at the same venue. He added that the program is supported by the Bank of Industry and urged corporate bodies, philanthropists, and groups to back the initiative. You are still listening to the news at 8 from Rockcity 101.9 FM. Up next, we bring you foreign, business, and the sport news. Please do stay with us. On the foreign scene, President Joko Widodo has expressed the hope that Indonesia could wipe out pedophilia with its new policy of chemical castration. He said Indonesia respected human rights, but there would be no compromise when it came to punishing such sexual crimes. Indonesia passed controversial laws earlier this month authorizing chemical castration for pedophiles. The Indonesian Doctors Association says its members should not be involved as procedure would violate medical ethics. Chemical castration is the use of drugs to reduce sex drive and libido without sterilization or removing organs. South Africa's government is facing crisis following a clash between President Jacob Zuma and his finance minister. The ruling African National Congress ANC party looks set for worsening strife as its divided leadership struggle amidst weakening economy and violent student protests. Finance Minister Pravin Gordhan, an ANC veteran who was heading for a peaceful retirement until his appointment last year, has emerged as the figurehead of the opposition to Zuma. Gordhan will next month appear in court on criminal charges that he says was politically motivated after challenging Zuma and alleged corrupt associate linked to the presidency. Now to the business world. The 5-week-old power outage has adversely affected business in part of Ogun State. The affected areas include Arepo and Wariwa, which the Ikeja Electricity Distribution Company blamed on the faulty 100 MVA transformer at Ejigbo transmission station in Lagos. The company said its technicians are battling to fix the fault and other multiple faults discovered in the system. Also, the company has reported damage to its 33 kV electric tower along the Abeokuta Expressway, has caused power blackout in both Ogun and Lagos State. Affected areas in the two states include Aburu, the Millennium Estate, and LSCPC Estate in Lagos State, as well as Ujokoro, Agbado, Jankara, and Abeokuta environ. The company said repair by its technicians may take 5 days due to the extensive damage to the tower. Finally, in the news at 8, Sport News. Africa's best referee for the past 2 years, Bakri Papa Gassama from Gambia, will be in charge of the World Cup qualifier between Nigeria and Algeria in Uyo. Gassama, an international referee since 2008, is one of the most respected referees in Africa. Meanwhile, the Nigerian Football Federation has won a protest over the release of the official match appointment, which sets the kick-off time as 5:30 p.m. The qualifier will see Jean-Claude Biru Mushihau from Burundi as assistant referee 1, Mara Range from Kenya as assistant referee 2, and Maudo Jallo as 4th official. FIFA also appointed Jean Olivia Umbera from Gabon as referee assessor, Ghanaian Anthony Bafu as match commissioner, and Nicholas Chumba Munsoye from Kenya as security officer. Chairman of Kano Pillars, Kabiru Baita, and his management board have been sacked. Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, in a statement signed by club spokesman Idris Malikawa, announced the dissolution of the management. Former Nigerian Football Federation (NFF) Ibrahim Galadima has been directed to submit recommendations on how to restructure the team. Kano Pillars finished 7th this past season despite huge financial support from the government. The sack of the management means the hiring of a new coach will now have to be delayed as well. And that was the news at 8, but just before we go, a quick recap of the major stories once again. Tonight in the news at 8, we told you Labour direct Ogun civil servant to stay at home from Thursday. Governor Amosu read riot act over the proposed worker strike. Lagos and Ogun state governors reshuffle their cabinets. IMF still rate Nigerian economy as Africa's biggest despite the recession. On the foreign scene, we told you Indonesia introduces chemical castration to fight rapists. And crisis hits South Africa's ruling party. For more stories and to listen to us live, to log on to our website. It is www.rockcityfmradio.com/live. Thank you very much for listening. I am Kunle. Alaye. Do have a wonderful Wednesday evening. Good evening.